What is up, YouTube? Today we are going to build another go-kart. Last week I was at a garage sale and I found this go-kart frame for $20, and of course I bought it. So I think I have everything I need to build it without buying anything. Everything I have I've already had. So yeah, got the frame, got the tires. You may recognize these tires. They're the same ones that were off of the riding mower that did wheelies all the time. But so yeah, got the bearings, got the axle, got the giant sprocket. Now, hopefully the sprocket's big enough for these really big tires, and we got the motor. The only thing I don't have is brakes. Not sure what I'm gonna do about that, but eventually I will have to figure out something, and I'll probably just make something that half works, and it's pretty scary and looks really jankety. So yeah, let's start working on this thing. Okay, so now I gotta figure out how I'm going to set up the axle. It would make more sense to do it like this because the frame is level against the ground, but if you look at it, I don't know, because these are such big tires, if I mounted the bearings on the bottom of the frame would stick up really high. Let's see what it would look like with the bearings on the bottom. Alright, so here's what it looks like with the bearings on the bottom of the frame. I kind of like it. It looks like a hot rod. And because the tires are so big in the back and small in the front, it looks like a hot rod. So I may just end up making this thing into a hot rod looking thing. So yeah, I kind of like it. I'm gonna do it like that. Yeah, I like it. All I gotta do is just weld the brackets onto the frame. Actually, no. What I gotta do is cut the frame here, 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 and here, and then cut it off here, here, and re-weld this together to get rid of this and these. I gotta get rid of these just to be able to mount the motor plate a lot easier. And once I do that, then I'll put new ones in these and to mount the motor, something like that. I don't know. Yeah, I like it. Looks cool. Okay, so I got the rear axle mounted and I got the motor mounted. The motor, it's a little high off the ground, but who cares? The axle seems perfect. That tire has a slight side-to-side wobble, but not that big a deal. As long as it doesn't wobble up and down, you're not going to really notice it when you're riding it. That one seems actually perfect. Slight wobble, but who gives a fuck? It's a go-kart. So I was trying to figure out what to do with the brake, and I wasn't really sure what to do. I was kind of thinking about just making a homemade brake, doing one of those belt brakes that I can do, but I didn't feel like jerry-rigging some ugly thing. So and then I realized off of that 13 horsepower go-kart with big wheels, that thing's been sitting behind my shed rotting away, rusting away forever. So I took the brake off of that, and here it is. Originally the brake drum was designed to fit on a ATV axle, and it had like a lot of small teeth inside here, so it could slide on and doesn't slide back and forth. I took this drum to my to the machine shop at my school, and I had my teacher machine the inside of this to where I can slide down a tube like this, only bigger. So I could slide one of those down, and then before I slid it down, I took my angle grinder and cut a 1/4 inch keyway slot right here. And then when I slid it down, and then I took it back to my shop and I TIG welded it back together, so you can't see it, but inside right there's a tube that I slid down, and where I cut out, there's a perfect keyway right there for a key to perfectly fit right there. Yeah, so this is going to go. I was wanting to put it right there, but there's not enough room right there, so I'm going to put it under the motor. and all I gotta do is just slide it on and then weld this somehow to the frame. Yeah, simple brake. All I gotta do is rotate this, and this expands, pushing itself against the wall right here, slowing down. So yeah, simple brake. It actually works very well. I have a cover for it also, so that'll be cool. What else? I wanted to use the original number 40 chain, but that's a number 41 sprocket, and the centrifugal clutch is a 40/41 sprocket. So I went to Tractor Supply, bought some 41 chain and some 41 connecting links, and this actually just looks like bicycle chain, doesn't it? Just a tiny bit bigger bicycle chain. But anyway, so yeah. Next thing to do is after I get the brake on, get all the things mounted on the axle. I'm not going to what I'm going to do, instead of using these set screws, I have tubing that slides over the 1-inch axle. I'm going to cut those perfectly to size to where they fit in between each thing in here, and then I'm going to take the bolts. I have bolts for these somewhere, and then I'm going to take it and bolt it together, and it'll compress it to where it won't slide back and forth, because I don't really trust these set screws. I've tried using these things, and they just loosen up, and these things just slide back and forth, and no matter how tight you get them, they always seem to, maybe you guys have better luck with them, but for me, they don't seem to work. I don't trust them, so I'm just gonna put tubing in here, thin walled tubing, and hold it on that way. So once I get that done, moving on to the steering and the front end, the bolts that are used for these are way too small. These bearings are 1/4 inch, and this is, I have no idea. So I went to Tractor Supply and I bought 1/4 inch bolts. All I gotta do is cut these off, weld these on, and then that'll work perfectly. Now the thing that's going to be pretty hard to fix is the headphones keep getting in the way. Is the steering wheel. It's frozen shut. I'm not sure what's frozen on it. I think it's these right here. I tried pouring WD-40 on them, and it's just locked up. I'm just gonna have to replace it, or I'm not sure. After that, after I fix the steering wheel, I gotta put a new seat on this, because this is just a frame, and here's the seat, the bottom of the seat, and that's all warped out. So I'm just gonna replace it with one of those cheap seats I get at Walmart or something. I don't know. And after that, I think this thing is done. After I hook up the brakes and hook up the throttle cable, and this thing is done. I'm not sure if I'm gonna leave this. Not really sure what the fuck this thing is for. Maybe just something to put your feet on. I don't know. Yeah, I like it. This thing's hopefully going to be going decently fast. I don't want this thing going incredibly slow, but I do want it to have power, to get up a hill. So I think, I'm not entirely sure, I think my gear ratio should be adequate for enough speed and enough torque. Hopefully. I have no idea. But yeah. Okay, so I got the rear axle on. Everything works great. The sprocket's on. The brake works great. You barely have to hit the throttle or hit the brake at all for the tires to completely lock up, which is nice, but it's kind of bad for the tires, because I'm trying to make these tires last as long as possible, because it would be a nightmare if I had to replace them, because I'm not sure where I'd get them, because they are really old lawnmower tires. I'm not sure where I could find new ones. Anyway. The axle's on. That works great. Yesterday, my friend wanted to try this thing out, so we just kind of took this really old seat that I had, slapped it on here. It's not even bolted or welded on. Just sitting right there. We jerry-rigged a throttle, and I hooked up the brake. The brake works just great, like I said. And he took this thing for a test drive. I was going to record it. I probably should have, but it was almost dark when he did, so I didn't end up doing it, which I probably should have, just because, I don't know. It was kind of funny, because him riding this thing was like almost a death trap, because he kept sliding off almost. Anyway, this thing is not as fast as I was hoping it would be. I'm not really sure if it's a inaccurate throttle, or I'm not sure. I don't know. I'll figure it out later. But for now, all I gotta do is take this crappy seat off. I'm gonna put this seat on here. Ryan wanted me to leave that seat on there, but there's no way I'm going to because it looks like shit. So, taking that seat off, putting this one on. I like these ones because they have a lot of cushioning. And right now, this one has 0 cushioning. It did have cushioning, but it's kind of just rotted out because this thing is so old. So yeah, replacing the seat, and then after that, cutting the steering wheel off. I did end up getting this steering wheel free. All I had to do was take a crap ton of WD-40 and spray it on the joints, and it ended up eating away at the rust, freeing this thing up. So I hooked that up to test it, and yeah, this steering wheel right now is at our crotch. So definitely gonna cut this steering wheel off if I'm going to reuse this one. I have another one. I'm not sure if I'm going to use that one. This one's smaller. But definitely going to move the steering wheel to the middle and raise it up like 4 inches just to give us leg room. And not sure if I'm going to leave the brake and throttle pedals right there or if I'm going to move them or not. Not sure yet. But first things first, let's get the new seat on and move the steering wheel to the middle. Okay, so this thing is done. I put the seat on. The seat's strong, not gonna fall off. I moved the steering wheel to the middle. I raised it up, like I think like 5 inches. I know it looks weird, but I like it. It works. It's not in the way of anything. And hooked up the brake and hooked up the throttle. All that works. And got the rear axle finished and everything. It's nice and strong. It's not gonna break, hopefully not. And yeah, so everything works right now. So hopefully soon I will upload a video of maybe like Ryan trying this thing out. It seems like I end up just making a bunch of videos of my friend Ryan trying this stuff out, and I just record it because he just goes mental on this kind of stuff, and it's fun to watch and it's easy to record. So anyway. One other thing, I recently got Garage Amino. It's for those of you who don't know, it's an app that you can download on an Android or iOS, iPhone or whatever, and it's for car enthusiasts, go-kart enthusiasts, and I recently got an account, I guess you can say, on there, and I'm going to try and post, not every day, but, you know, every once in a while, you know, the progress of projects and what I'm planning on doing next, and possibly questions about, you know, what to paint, this kind of, you know, just stuff that it would be hard to make a video and upload it to YouTube. So if you want, go to Garage Amino. My name is Rather Be Welding, just like my YouTube channel name. It's Rather capital B Welding. So if you want, go to Garage Amino, follow me there, and I'll try to upload cool stuff on there also. So yeah, thank you for watching, subscribe, and have a nice day.